Absolutely delighted to be joined by Josh and Gerald now, and we're going to be talking about the annual survey looking into workers in local and state government. Welcome.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you both again.
Good to see you.
So talk us through this year's survey then.
So we've been doing the survey for a little over a decade now, and it's in partnership with the International Public Management Association for Human Resources and the National Association of State Personnel Executives. And what it's allowed us to do is track trends in changes in workforce, changes in benefit structures, hard to fill skill sets and positions. And so when we released this report earlier this year, we really were able to not only look at 2018 findings, but also 10 years of history.
Right, so what we've really seen is that when we started the survey about 2009, part of the recession, many organizations were having difficulty financially. They were doing layoffs, furloughs, pay cuts, and at the same time, many of their existing employees were postponing retirement. All those trends have reversed in the last several years. So now the more senior workers are retiring, the pay cuts and furloughs and things are disappearing, but at the same time, many of those organizations had made changes to their benefit structures to make their pension plans more solvent, to share more of the cost of their health benefits with the employees picking up a greater share. And that was good from a financial perspective, but it's created some difficulty from the recruiting perspective. So as you're looking for people, particularly now in a strong economy, low unemployment, it's difficult to convince those people to come to work for a local or a state government when the benefits structure is not as robust as it once had been.
Because that's a really interesting point, isn't it? Because we've got such low unemployment now, and now it's about making this an attractive career, and the benefits and the whole sort of structure that go around that are going to be an important part in that making that decision.
Right, so in some cases we've got some study data that's also pointing to decreased competitiveness for the same pool of employees that perhaps the private sector is trying to recruit as well, along with positions that historically have been very strong in terms of being able to recruit them, police and fire, for example, that are now being identified by these executives as being very difficult to fill those positions. So in many ways, what the organizations are doing is looking creatively at either non-monetary benefits that can attract people to the public sector, or potentially something much more creative like hiring on the gig economy.
Well, let's talk about the gig economy. Everyone talks about the gig economy these days. What have you found around the gig economy?
So this year's report was the first year that we sort of dove into the gig economy, and what we're finding is, while it's not a sea change, more local governments and state governments are beginning to enter into the gig economy to fill a whole range of positions, from maintenance workers to accountants to IT professionals, and again, it's not filling large holes when they're trying to fill positions, but it's a way of providing, filling tasks on demand going forward. We were going to be focusing on this topic going forward to answer a couple questions around what can local managers do to sort of navigate equity issues between full-time employees and gig workers. What can local managers do in terms of keeping in mind that these folks might not have benefits that they can count on, and a whole host of other local management questions that engaging with the gig economy sort of brings to the floor.
Well, thank you both very much indeed for joining us again this year. Really appreciate it, and really interesting stuff. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
ICMA TV has plenty more exclusive content from the conference, which you can check out using the links to the right. Be sure to check back each day for brand new interviews, stories and coverage from the show. You can also travel back in time and revisit 12 years of ICMA TV by checking out our channel.